Law number 8, the law of intensity. The law of intensity is a powerful law because it involves many physical aspects of the human brain and the metaphysical aspects related to our quantum world. Brainwave states. Every second of the day, each neuron and synapse in our brain is firing with electrical energy. This constant flow of electrical energy ensures fluid communication from the brain to the body, from the body to the brain, and between the various parts of the brain. It can be measured by an EEG device. We measure the cyclical energy in hertz or cycles per second. Varying states of emotional behavior trigger varying states of electrical energy within our brains. We call these brainwave states. Your brainwave state as you watch this video is probably a beta state, so let's start there. Beta brainwaves are the typical state when we are awake and our general mental awareness when actively engaged in the world. In this state, the physical senses are alert and actively taking in information. Alpha state. When we are very relaxed, about to drift off to sleep, daydreaming, traveling without consciously remembering the route, these are all performed in this state. It is also associated with intuitive thinking, insight, creativity, and deep relaxation. Theta. In light sleep, also known as REM sleep and deep meditation, our brain is in a theta state. A person in theta can also experience a deep connection to source, have profound insights and visualizations. Delta. This brain frequency range is where the body is in its deepest sleep, healing and rejuvenating itself. Generally, a person is unconscious in this state. A person in a coma would be in a deep delta state, 1 Hertz for example. Epsilon and lambda are only recently discovered and are very controversial. Gamma. Gamma brainwaves are associated with higher mental functioning, anxiety, being in the zone, and peak concentration. Our mind is at different wavelengths depending on our state, emotions, nutrition, and external factors. All of these brainwaves are active in our brain all of the time, but one of the brainwave states will be the most dominant. And again, this depends on the person, how they are feeling, what they are busy doing, the time of day, and what their emotions are. Alpha state and lower allows access to the subconscious mind. The physical part of the law of intensity states that the strength of any memory is proportional to the strength of emotion at the time of the memory. So, for any new behavior to become cemented into the subconscious, it requires a high-level brainwave state, like gamma for instance. But this then leads to a paradox. If the relaxed alpha state opens the subconscious, and the intense gamma state burns the memory into the subconscious, surely the two brainwave states cannot coexist. One method to achieve this dual brainwave state is by using binaural beats, whereby we introduce multiple brainwave frequencies to the brain, one in each ear. So in theory, we could be in an alpha state and receive a binaural beat of anything over 30 Hertz, which is a gamma state, for instance. A second method is when the body is profoundly relaxed and the mind is in a state of high focus and concentration, like meditation, where both low 10 Hertz and high 40 Hertz brain activity can be seen in the EEG of some people. But the most powerful method is this. Gratitude can be a thought, or it can be deeply felt, energized by amplified emotion. Gratitude is ordinarily a theta brainwave state. But when this gratitude is deeply felt, it receives a dose of gamma. Gamma is seen in blessings and euphoria. A deep state of gratitude is a combination of blessings and euphoria. Giving blessings for your positive state combined with a sense of euphoria because of your positive state. Simply put, gratitude is the most powerful method of manifesting your intentions. It is believed that Tibetan monks meditating achieve gamma state. Perhaps the years of dedicated training allow the mind to be in an alpha state, whilst the mind-body achieves a gamma state. Ironically, their power of manifestation probably allows them to manifest anything they want, but their level of consciousness means that they don't want for anything. Like the balance in nature, gamma has both a negative aspect, for instance, it is the state of fear, stress, and anxiety, and an opposite positive aspect, for instance, focus, performance, memory, and compassion. Homeostasis and memory intensity. The world you see is a model based on the projection of your beliefs. The intensity of a belief is proportional to the emotion that accompanies it. In this way, the beliefs you have vary in terms of the depth of belief. Each of us has a program in our subconscious mind, which is our script, for how successful each of us will be. This is homeostasis, our mind script, which enforces our limitations and sets the ceiling on our successes. But this script can be rewritten, and our subconscious minds can be reprogrammed using tools such as affirmations, gratitude, mindfulness. If you do attract success above your homeostasis limit, ultimately you will not retain it. A quick example. Think of the archetypal story of the person who wins a large amount of money on the lottery. After a few years, they have spent the money and typically have less than they started with. Their homeostasis dictated that they were poor, and that is what ultimately manifested. So, like exercising your body with weights, the homeostasis needs exercise to increase its set of values. Because you rise to the level of your homeostasis, it is important to understand why you believe something and the level of certainty you believe it. If you believe you are 100% successful, then that is what you become. The simple basis of homeostasis is, if you believe it, you will achieve it, but at the level of the subconscious mind. If you believe that you are a 100% failure, then that is what will happen. Any memory or belief taken in simultaneously with strong emotion is deeply rooted in the subconscious. If the event invoked a weak emotion, it sits but is not firmly anchored in the subconscious. If the event invoked a strong emotion, it is firmly rooted in the subconscious. Any stimulus produces a range of neurochemicals which burn the memory into your subconscious. The more neurochemicals and the bigger the release, the more those memories are burnt into your subconscious. A low-level event such as you falling off a bicycle when you were 4 years old is a vague and distant memory. But the car crash you had when you were 14 is burned into your memory because of the fear and terror involved. For instance, this is why PTSD is so difficult to treat. So, experiences with intense emotion are more burned into your memory, but strangely a human cannot recall pleasure or pain. Any negative memory you have is only that, a memory. By holding on to the past, you are doing yourself a disservice. You may remember an association that an event was painful or pleasurable, but you cannot recreate that pleasure or pain. A memory associated with terror or humor is more cemented into memory because of the neurochemicals released at the time of the event. In this way, you can reprogram yourself by removing any link or attachment to negative memories. If you only had positive thoughts and beliefs, how powerful would you become? You could agree right now to let go of any limiting belief. It does not serve you. You only believe any limiting belief you have because of the neurochemicals released at the time of the events that led you to believe that you are limited, and because of the constant repetition. You are responsible for that repetition. Only you repeat the same things to yourself. You have over 70,000 thoughts a day, and over 95% are a repeat of yesterday's thoughts. It is your choice what you want to believe. This is part of you being unlimited. You are only limited by your thoughts and beliefs. The power of your subconscious mind. Short-term memory is stored in the conscious, but the recurring memory from the subconscious, when it is stimulated, is recalled into the conscious. The subconscious is exponentially more powerful than the conscious mind. This is why any conscious law of attraction tools do not work. The law of attraction can only work out of your subconscious. When you simply repeat affirmations, you are only using your conscious mind, which is ineffective. When you energize the affirmations with heartfelt appreciation and a surge of emotion, such as gratitude, you energize the affirmation. The subconscious is involved because of the intensity of the feeling, how matter is created. In order to shift an electron from a probability state into a higher valence state, 0.511 mega electron volts, in other words half a mega electron volt, is required. So to effect a move from the probability cloud to form a particle, to form matter, it requires an electrical charge of half a mega electron volt. Without this charge, the electron remains where it is, unchanged. But how do we create this energy? When we visualize or attempt to manifest, we energize this through feeling. The more intense your feeling, the more energy you are giving your thought or vision. And the greater the energy, the quicker and more likely it is that it will manifest. When we vibrate at a high level, we give off energy which affects electrons to move to a higher orbit, thus forcing the atom to adopt form. When we vibrate low, we absorb energy from the probability field. In the latter state, we cannot affect our universe in a creative way. Einstein won his Nobel Prize for his study on the photoelectric effect. In photoelectric experiments, when red light is shone on a metal, no photons are released. As yellow or green or blue light is shone, an increase in photons is emitted. The higher the frequency, the more photons are released, with violet light having the highest effect. The reason is energy. The violet light is a faster, more energized light compared to the red light. This is another aspect of the law of intensity. Energizing our creation. If we throw a small stone into the pond, the waves created are small and dissipate after a while. If we throw a large rock into the pond, we create bigger waves, and those waves have a strong effect on the pond. How do we create the energy to collapse the wave into a particle? It is simple. You have the power within you. You are way more powerful than you think. The Earth's iron core generates a massive electromagnetic field which protects the Earth from adverse energy. In the same way, your heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field which can extend up to 9 feet in every direction. According to biologist Bruce Lipton, the average membrane potential for a cell is 70 millivolts or 0.07 volts. This is the electrical charge difference between the inside of the cell, separated by the cell membrane, from the charge just outside the cell membrane. Your body is made up of 50 trillion cells. 50 trillion multiplied by 0.07 volts gives your body a potential electric energy of 3.5 trillion volts. Just how powerful are you? Your brain alone generates about 12 to 25 watts of electricity. Imagination is electromagnetic energy. Thought is electromagnetic energy. Deep feeling and emotion is electromagnetic energy. How much intensity you apply to imagination, thought and feeling is the key to manifesting your world. The power of group consciousness and prayer. Thoughts emanate from you in a wave pattern. Where several people combine their thoughts, for example a prayer group, the waves form peaks and troughs. The peaks bring about an increased probability of manifesting the event being prayed for, an increased frequency of the event. Intense prayer by an individual also harnesses this effect. The Maharishi Effect is caused by this phenomenon. Energy waves have two values, frequency and amplitude. The frequency is the nature of your thoughts and desires. The amplitude is the power or intensity of those thoughts and desires. Group consciousness and intense prayer are both ways to increase the amplitude, the power. This is the law of intensity in action. We know our mind is an emitter and receiver of frequencies. What we receive is relative to what we send out. Be conscious of your thoughts and guard against negative thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If you are sending out the correct frequencies, you will eventually create whatever it is that you are intending. Fear is a powerful attractor. Fear creates focused energy and increases the probability of occurrence. You attract your fears is a valid statement. The law of intensity means we cannot just picture what we want and hope it will manifest. When we picture what we want, we have to energize it. We have to increase its amplitude to increase the frequency. In this regard, frequency is the level of probability of its occurrence, or how many times it will frequent your world. Amplitude is the energy power we give a thought, which increases its impact on our universe. Typically, we all desire something, and we ask or pray for it to occur, but we do not maintain an intensity of focus. A typical path is that in the creation path diagram. We have desire, our hope gives it a higher probability, but then we have doubts, which focuses on the non-manifestation of our desire. Doubt, fear, and despair are also creational. Sadly, you are creating the opposite of what you are trying to manifest. Over time, you overcome your doubts and fears, and through focusing tools, you achieve your manifestation. Fear and doubt are also part of the law of intensity. The more you fear something, the more attention you give it, and the more likely it is to manifest. A fear with intensity, for instance terror, is highly creational. These focusing tools are desire, thoughts, dreams, mindfulness, imagery, regular affirmations, mass projections like the Maharishi Effect, prayer, and gratitude. These are all powerful creational tools which increase the probability of manifestation. Gratitude is the most powerful of these. Undoing the past. If you consider the law of intensity for one moment, any memory is dependent on the depth of emotion at the time of the memory. These deep hurts and events are in your mind, and clearly there was intense emotion at the time of the event, which is why it is now deeply cemented into memory. Because our subconscious considers these events harmful, it buries them deeply. This is why consciously we cannot summon the event, nor are we aware of it or the impact it has on us. The higher the intensity of the event, the stronger and deeper the emotion. The more senses that were involved in the creation of the event, the more deeply ingrained the event and the emotion will be. A person's low self-esteem is linked to multiple past failure events and experiences, and the intensity of the emotion at the time of the failure has burned into memory the perception that they are a failure in one or more ways. Living in the present moment. We have considered techniques that allow us to shape our future and to let go of the past. But we know the past and future do not exist. There is only the now. How does the law of intensity help me in the present moment? You are the creator of your universe. Using the concept of the law of intensity, you can let go of limiting beliefs. You can adopt an attitude of unlimited, but any thought or desire needs to be energized to the point where it is embedded in your subconscious and creates ripples in the fabric of the universe. I spent my life looking for the truth, but I did it in my head. I did it intellectually. But life in you is in your heart. I had to find the truth in my heart. Your heart is the engine for your creation. It contains the power that allows you to energize your thoughts and create what it is that you really desire. To summarize the law of intensity, remember these three aspects. 1. The world is a projection of your subconscious. What you believe will manifest, but only if it sits in the subconscious mind. The conscious mind cannot create from subtle energy. The intensity of your belief will accelerate the manifestation. 2. Gratitude is intrinsic to manifesting. The more intensely you feel the gratitude, the stronger the manifestation ability. 3. To create matter, an electron needs to move out of its probability state and collapse into a particle. The energy required to do this is generated through electromagnetic energy delivered by your heart's EM field and through intense feeling of emotion.